Welcome to my home. I'm Karen, thismainermom, and I'm so happy that you've joined me today. My goal at thismainermom is to bring real life help to real life moms, and for that reason I am super excited about today's video because it was requested by one of you. Scarlett from One Happy Mama 23 wrote as a comment on one of my videos. She says, "Would you mind doing a detailed homeschool routine video if you get the chance? How did you schedule the day when your children were younger and needed more time with you for their subjects?" So that's the subject we're going to tackle today. In my 22 years of homeschooling, I have found some things to really help us to have the best possible chance at a successful day. The first thing is you have to have a consistent start time. It doesn't matter what that time is. Mine used to be 7:30 in the morning. Right now it's 8 in the morning. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it's 5 o'clock at night, but everybody needs to understand when they're going to start, and they need to understand that unless there's an emergency or something that's way out of the ordinary, maybe it's a fun trip or a field trip, it could be anything, but they need to understand that in general, you're consistently going to start at that time, and it is non-negotiable. Otherwise, someone is always going to argue about when you're starting. So I have found that everybody needs a consistent time so they know what's expected. The second thing that I have found to be necessary is I want everybody completely dressed and groomed. I want teeth brushed, hair combed, I want their bed made, and because we start in the morning, I want everyone to have had a breakfast, and that includes a drink, so that no one's hungry or dehydrated. I've homeschooled all of my 7 kids, and all 7 of them, whether they're a morning person or a night person, tends to do better in the morning, and they need to get their harder subjects out of the way during that time. When my children were younger, I found it important to do something first that might help get the wiggles out. So maybe a walk, maybe playing outside, maybe it's a exercise video, but doing something that helps get those initial wiggles out is very, very important. And then I'm going to take the subjects where they need me the most when we're working one-on-one, like let's say math and their language arts, and I'm going to stagger the kids throughout my morning so that everybody has sit-down time with mom. Another thing that was really helpful when they were younger was I tried to combine them as much as possible. So we were combined for Bible, for history, for science, and anything like art. I tried to provide hands-on activities. We were making masks for Egypt, and we were trying to do science experiments, although I have to admit I kind of stink at those. And what I would do is, let's say I was reading in a history book. The younger children would be allowed to be drawing or using Legos while I was reading, as long as they were quiet and listening. So it might look a little bit like this. Maybe we would start with Bible and prayer, and that would be short. And with younger children, I try to stick to about a 20-minute lesson. Then we would do something where we get the wiggles out. I'd gather them together and do like reading in our literature book, or read aloud that we're doing, or it might be doing history or science. Then I would take the oldest child and I would do, 20 minutes of math. I would do math instruction, and then I would have them read to me, and I would get them going on any other language arts and set them free to do their independent work of like handwriting or their phonics book, anything that they could do by themselves. I would have ready for them, and they would take that at that time, and I would go on to the second child, and I would do the same thing. I would do their short math lesson, I would have them read out loud to me, and then I would get them going on anything that they could do independent. And I always started with the firstborn. I always started with the oldest child because they're further along in years and in school, and their stuff's more challenging, and so they probably needed me more. As they got older, I might even change that up a little bit. Maybe I would start them with independent work and have them, then I would come in and help them as they needed. So in the morning, I'm staggering one-on-one time with mom, staggering independent time, and that independent time would look different depending on the child. So maybe it would be a little art project for a really young one, or Play-Doh or Legos if they weren't able to do work on their own. And I always kept lessons short, and I would stagger my alone time with each child throughout the morning. Another thing that I did was everybody got a 15-minute break in the morning. So I might have that all at the same time, or I might actually let them choose after their independent work to get their break then. And what I tried to do is stagger something I hate, something I love, something I hate, something I love. So if the child really loved science, I'd have them maybe do, if it was the math type stuff they didn't like, I would say, hey, let's do math. When you're done, we'll do science. So I tried to stagger what they loved and what they struggled with so that they knew something more positive was coming after they did that initial hard work. So I started with Bible in the morning. I did either science or history or literature because we could do that as a group, and then we're splitting off. And then after lunch, if I did science in the morning, then I'm doing history in the afternoon. And then they're already gathered because we just had lunch together. And so it's an easy time for us to do a subject together. And then in the later afternoon, if I still haven't gotten to their read aloud, I would do that at that time. I'm honestly not great in the afternoon. My concentration skills are not good, so it was the perfect time to do reading, and sometimes I might even get the book on audio so that I'm not even having to do that type of reading. Another thing that I have found throughout the years that is helpful is I have my own morning routine. I'm dressed to the shoes, hair and makeup done, so that if we're going somewhere in the afternoon, I'm not stressed out about trying to pull myself away from everybody and get that done. I also have my own cleaning morning routine, and I'll have a video about that linked at the end of this video. But basically, I want my dishwasher emptied, I want my laundry switched over, and a morning load started. I want my bed made. So if I have those 3 things done, then I feel pretty confident that I can just sit and focus on homeschooling. I try to see it as a job. I try to see that I'm responsible to be there. I'm trying not to get anything done during those heavy times when people are going to need me, and that continues even when the kids are older. Sometimes I just need to be physically present for a kid to stay on task, and so I'm going to bring a book or my laptop or something that I can do during that time so that it's easier for me to sit and not get bored myself and want to wander off and start into a project when I'm just going to be interrupted. If I'm going to do a chore myself, I'm going to do something that happens in that room. Maybe I'm separating laundry or dusting or sweeping, but I'm going to be doing something that takes place in that room, because I find if I leave the room and go get into something, it's really hard to be interrupted, or they might not come and find me. One tip that I found was really helpful is if you're working with one child on math, it's really hard to be interrupted by other kids who need your help. So what I did was each one had an index card that had their name on it, and it said, I need help. And they would just come, walk to me, hand me the card, and then go either do something else or do the ones that they could do and wait quietly for me. And when I could break away, I would come to that child and help them, because it was really hard to get started and then have to stop and get started and have to stop when I'm trying to teach. I really hope these tips were helpful to you today. I love that Scarlett asked this question, and I hope if you have any other questions about homeschooling or anything else, you leave it in the comment section below, or my email is in the description box, and you're always welcome to email me. I'm happy to make videos for you if there's some certain area that you need help. It is my goal to bring real life help to real life moms, and I am eager and anxious to do that. If you don't want a video, you just want to chat with me, you can either comment in the comments below or you can send me an email. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, as always, that God loves you so much, and I love you too.